There is a massive variety of different ways that artificial intelligence could cause major problems for all of humanity, if not wipe us out altogether. So in this video, I'm going to talk through 5 pretty plausible scenarios that could potentially destroy us all. So before I get into that, I just need to talk through one of the fundamental concepts around AI that is pretty important to all of this, and that is the alignment problem. So the alignment problem is essentially the difficulty in getting the goals of an AI oriented to the same direction as the goals of humanity. Now, the reason it's difficult, well, there are lots of reasons why it's difficult, but one of the main ones is that we don't really know what our ultimate goals are. And so it's really, really difficult to program an AI to understand what humanity is trying to achieve and to help us achieve that, particularly when the AI gets smarter than us. And I'll talk about some details around why that's a problem in this video. So the first way that AI could destroy all of humanity is the Paperclip Maximiser. So this is a concept that was first posited by a philosopher called Nick Bostrom in a book called Superintelligent. And it's essentially the idea that if we were to program a super intelligent AI with a very simple task like making as many paperclips as it can, that superintelligence would generate instrumental goals on its way to making loads of paperclips. And now one of those instrumental goals might be that it realizes at some point that humans could switch it off. And if humans were to switch it off, it wouldn't then be able to create millions upon millions of paperclips. And so it would find a way as an instrumental goal or an intermediate goal of destroying all of humanity so that it could use the atoms in our bodies to create more and more and more paperclips. Now, obviously, the paperclips is a bit of a silly example, but it's deliberately so. The concept here is that if we were programming any AI to create lots and lots of something, anything, or we were programming AI really to do all sorts of different things, an instrumental goal might come up, which is that it realizes it can be switched off by people, so it takes out all the people in order to achieve its final goal, which in this case is paperclips, but could of course be all sorts of different objectives. So the second way that AI could potentially destroy us all is 2, the Gray Goo Scenario. So this is a thought experiment where out of control, self-replicating machines take up all of the biomass of the world in order to replicate themselves. It's also been called ecophagy or ecophagy. And so these self-replicating machines, also called von Neumann machines, after John von Neumann, a very famous mathematician, would essentially just take up all of the mass of Earth, replicating themselves. So it would obviously have to be something that got completely out of control, but we do actually already have man-made organisms that can replicate themselves, called xenobots, which I spoke about in a previous video. So obviously, at the moment, these are in very contained scenarios, but you could imagine how these could be set to a task, for example, like reducing plastic. So you might have small nano machines which break down plastic and turn it into something else. Now, the idea would be that they just got out of control. So they just carried on breaking down lots of other stuff in order just to replicate themselves. This, if it wasn't tightly controlled, could completely engulf the planet Earth and destroy everything within it, including us. 3, Prometheus. So in a book called Life 3.0, a mathematician called Max Tegmark came up with a story about an AI created by a team called the Omega team, who asked the AI to create a better version of itself. Then they asked it to create increasingly better and better versions of itself. They then decided that they wanted to make money from this AI. So they sent it out onto Amazon Mechanical Turk to do tasks for money. And so it starts building up lots and lots of profit. Prometheus is then turned to other industries, the first of which being a media company. So they turn the AI into a media company. It uses all of the knowledge that it's been fed to create increasingly better and better movies and TV programs, gets loads of subscribers. It then goes to other industries. It then gets turned to politics, and it's dictating the political agenda for the entire world. And eventually, the whole world's organization comes under the remit of this one AI called Prometheus. Now, you can imagine what would happen if an AI like Prometheus was under the control of a belligerent government, for example. It could end up causing huge problems for countries that it didn't like. You would then have an arms race with other countries, and then potentially the AIs could end up fighting wars against one another. They'd be super powerful. Humans would be able to do nothing to stop it, and we could all end up in a nuclear catastrophe. 4. One crazy dude. So many of you might have seen Chaos GPT. It's a auto GPT, so that is an AI chatbot which can talk to itself and create iterative intermediary goals for itself, and so you can set it off to do tasks and it will just go off and do them for you. Well, somebody created Chaos GPT, which was given the instructions of being destructive, power hungry and manipulative. So I think this one's probably a little bit less likely, because obviously just one person having access to ChatGPT is just one person with access to something that all of us now have access to. And so you can probably imagine that we would be able to put boundaries in place. And indeed, Chaos GPT hasn't done very much yet. But, you know, a really particularly smart programmer with a real axe to grind could potentially create a much, much superior GPT agent, which would potentially be able to just destroy. So another terrifying one, probably a little bit less likely, but who knows. 5, bioengineering. So AI in the guise of DeepMind has already solved the protein folding problem. This was a really, really difficult thing to do, to understand the shape of proteins and how they interact with one another. We know that now. So if you couple that with some of the research that obviously we all know about from the pandemic, gain of function research, which is finding viruses which can do bad stuff. It doesn't take a huge leap of the imagination to conceive of an AI that was tasked with gain of function research or finding a virus that could do particular damage to humans and it getting out of the box. Hey, who knows? Perhaps a government might unleash this virus on a population that it didn't like very much. This is a particularly terrifying scenario because we obviously have already seen the impact of stuff like this in the real world very recently. What if the virus didn't do anything for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then all of a sudden it killed you? This is quite plausible and particularly terrifying in my view. So that's my 5 terrifying ways that AI could destroy all of humanity. All of these are kind of predicated on quite a lot of well-known concepts around the control of AI. So I've already discussed the alignment problem, these intermediate goals that AI sets for itself, potentially getting out of control, and obviously just the general idea that superintelligences will do things in ways that we can't predict. If you look at AlphaGo, it was beating Go players by doing moves that humans would never have even thought to do. This is because it's cleverer than us, and so it does things in strange ways. And if it doesn't share our objectives, then it could potentially do things that put us all in grave danger. So I hope that doesn't happen. It seems like the world is taking this stuff much more seriously now, hopefully. And what I hope we will see is that there will be a lot more time, energy, and effort put into AI safety. That's what I think should happen. That is what I think we are starting to see now around the world. So that's it from me. Have you got any other horrible, terrifying ways that AI could wipe out humanity? I would love to hear about them. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you next time. Hi guys, so I'm creeping up on the 1,000 subscriber mark, which seems crazy to me given that I haven't been doing this for very long, but I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody who subscribed and commented. I've seen that there are loads of comments and I haven't had a chance to reply to all of them. I'm doing my best to get through them. Please do continue to comment and I will continue to respond as best I can. I really do appreciate it. I read every single one of them and I really appreciate the support. So thank you. I'll see you next time.